Oh, I wanna be the one to hold you close, 'cause you're the only one I'm dreaming of. My love, my love, my love, my
Absolutely.
So we're talking about the two sides of forgiveness tonight, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know that it might seem a little deep, but we're going to have a little fun with it. I don't want anybody to walk away feeling condemned or feeling like they're a terrible person, you know, because we're all, none of us are perfect, right?
No, absolutely.
And we're trying to grow in our relationships, and especially when two people from two different family dynamics, two different mindsets, two different upbringings, tolerances, personalities, when you come together, it takes time to merge sometimes.
Absolutely.
Some people are extremely blessed or lucky, and they have a smoother journey. But some roads are pretty bumpy.
I agree.
But everything is figure-outable. I know that's not a word, but everything in relationships are figure-outable. So, hey, what's up? Sharita is in the building. Hello, Sharita.
Figure-outable.
Hey, Dia, love
Hey,
you
Dia.
too.
Hey, Sharita.
Dia is here. Victoria is here. So we're going to talk about the two sides of relationships. So are you
The
guys...
two sides of forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
That's
forgiveness. Yeah, that was last week, right? The relationship part.
Relationship goals.
Right. So look, guys, share. This your last time.
If y'all don't
If you
share,
don't-
I'm gonna get up and be a loop dancer in the background.
BET won't pick us up this time. If we don't get enough viewers, they're gonna totally cancel this program. So we want you guys to share.
Y'all don't want me to give you no old school loop dancing.
No,
So
not at all.
y'all might want to share.
What's up, Tion? Cuz is in the building.
Hey guys.
Yeah, so all right, guys, we are now about to get into our conversation. So if you have not shared yet, we want to encourage y'all to give your boy and your girl some love and share while I bring this music down. So
Let's go.
Let's get to it. All
Yes,
right?
baby.
Look, check it out. Tonight we're talking about the two sides of forgiveness. The two sides of forgiveness. But I do want to let you guys know that we're not implying that there's a bad side,
No.
and a good
no.
side, a wrong side, and a
And a
right
right
side.
side, yeah.
We're just talking about the two sides so that we can understand from our perspective to move forward in our relationships, right?
Absolutely.
And if you were on with us last week, we talked about the relationship goals, and not relationship goals like relationship goals hashtag relationship goals.
Relationship goals.
Right. We weren't pushing that trend, but we were talking about real goals, real tangible goals that people have in relationships.
Right.
Because I don't believe anybody gets into a relationship to be mediocre,
Right.
or to go backwards,
Absolutely.
right? Or to struggle, or to fight every day.
Right.
You know, we have goals, whether they're spoken of, whether there's dialogue, or you say, hey, babe, this is our goal together, or you might have your own goal, I might have my own goal. Even if it isn't discussed, we still have them, right?
Right.
So all of us want to see more, we want to have more, we want to be more,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And of course it takes work, right?
Absolutely.
You know, we want to grow, whether it's in, romantically, right? Whether it's financially, in just any area in our career, intellectually, spiritually. I think we all want to grow as couples. Do you believe that?
I agree 100%. If you're not growing, you're not living. You know,
Right.
you're kind of stagnant and just kind of being still, kind of doing the same mundane thing daily.
Right.
You know, so yeah, we should all have goals and aspirations that we're trying to attain and trying
Right.
to reach. You know, so yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Right now, before you get married, and even when you were married or when we were dating, did you have like any like particular goals, or even if we didn't talk
Yeah.
about it, did you have any goals?
I absolutely did have goals. Like before we got married, I wanted to work in the corporate world, travel. Like that was my number one thing. I wanted to travel. I knew I wanted to be a mom, just didn't know how soon I wanted to be a wife and mom. And it happened a lot sooner than I expected for it to happen. And
You
I'm
shouldn't
okay.
have been up in there all up on me.
Now you watch your mouth out here saying stuff that ain't right. But listen, I mean, it happened a lot sooner than I expected for it to happen. But it was what was necessary in my life. It was a part of the journey that God had for my life. But my goal was to be a businesswoman and to work in corporate America and to travel the world. That was my goal.
What about relationship goals? When we got together, did you remember? You remember back in the
We
day?
did have relationship
I remember
goals when we got
would
together.
sit down in the living room and remember we had like a.
We would draw out.
We would draw out. I'm like, look, girl, I want this. I want my
Yeah.
living room. I want a step down living room. And I remember.
I do remember. I remember all of that. Like we
All
would
that cheesy
literally,
stuff.
yeah, we would order pizza, sit down on his floor in his at his apartment,
Uh-huh.
and we would write out like all of our goals, all of our dreams, all of our aspirations. We had this one particular thing. We wanted this closet, like this bomb
Well,
closet.
you actually really want. Well, anyway.
Yes, I wanted this bomb closet. Like I still want this bomb closet. I don't have it.
Baby, I got you. I got you.
But that was like one of the biggest things. Like, we're going to get this house. It's going to have this closet. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And we haven't obtained all of those things.
Right.
You know, we there's still plenty of journey to go.
Absolutely.
There's still so many goals that we still have to reach. And they're not all material, of course.
Right.
Physically, you
Right.
know, there are some goals that we need to reach and obtain and stay there. But yeah, I think it's a necessary part of life to have goals, because if you don't have goals, you're not reaching for anything.
Yeah, if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards.
Yeah.
And I know that this isn't the topic for tonight. You know, however, everyone needs to have goals.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to have them. So if you're in
Right.
a relationship, I want to encourage you to have goals, but not just have goals, but write it down and actually think things through. And we talked about having a bigger why and all that, but we won't get into that.
Yeah.
However, some goals are realized and some aren't. And that can be because of a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
But tonight we want to talk about one particular thing, which I call or a bottleneck. And if you think about business, a bottleneck, what it is a point of congestion in a production system. It's if you think about this wine bottle, if the wine was big all the way through and you actually, poured it, it'll
would
flow.
all flow out,
But
yeah.
if you think about it, if you have a Coke or something, or even this wine, you pour it, it gets smaller and it gets congested, and it's hard for it to actually flow.
Right. It's not like a rush.
It's not like a rush. And sometimes in our relationships, we want to move forward or achieve these goals, but we got these bottlenecks in our lives that's stopping the flow or
that's
stopping
good.
us moving further faster. And one of them are forgiveness issues, or the inability to forgive, or i.e. unforgiveness. So we want
yeah.
to talk about it tonight, right?
I think that was good.
And because people want to move forward, but here's a fact, y'all. There are people that they're still mad, they're still angry, they're still bitter at their spouse, their partner, their boyfriend or girlfriend due to something that occurred in their relationship and they're hurt.
Absolutely.
But it's important that we acknowledge this forgiveness issue, or this inability to forgive, or unforgiveness
pretty much.
in our lives, so that we can move forward in 2021.
Right.
Because we try to move forward, but there's a bottleneck. Like
Yeah.
you pour this wine, it'll come out, but it won't flow consistently. There's congestion, like a runny nose. Have you ever had a stuffy nose and you're trying to breathe properly? Yeah, at night, and you're just like, God, I can't really sleep. You can't function at 100% because there's a bottleneck, right?
Right.
So we want to talk about this bottleneck, right?
That's
and
good,
both
yeah.
sides of it, right?
Yep.
So can you share a little bit about like what unforgiveness is, honey? Like,
Yeah, definitely. So unforgiveness is like the unwillingness to forgive. It's the
Yeah.
unwillingness to it's the unwillingness to just forgive. In general,
Right.
that's what it is.
Right.
Like, I have the definition, but when you think about it, it really just is the unwillingness to do it, or the inability
to
do
forgive, right?
you know?
Right.
And that stops us in so many ways, in so many areas of our life, when we have things that we're holding and won't forgive,
Right.
you know?
Because it's impossible for us to achieve goals or to get further faster if we have this unforgiveness or this friction or these bottleneck in our world, that's holding us back.
Yeah.
And it's important that we don't just push it under the rug, because
Right.
a lot of people they're bitter, they're mad because of, and people hold unforgiveness because they've been hurt. There's something that
Absolutely.
transpired. People don't just say, you know what, you're not forgivable, or I have a grudge, or I'm bitter just because. You know, for every action there's a reaction.
Yeah.
You know, and there's cause, and there's a principle, a rule, or that's called cause and effect.
Right.
Right. And unfortunately, you know, things that happen in our lives or in our relationships, it stops us from actually moving forward, right? And we can't have that in 2021, right?
Right.
If you agree with that, put yes in the comment
agree with
section.
that.
If you agree, put yes. Danielle said unwillingness to let it go.
Yep,
Absolutely,
the unwillingness to let it go.
So
yeah.
why is it important though? Like, why for our viewers, and what would you say to them? Why is it important for people to forgive?
Because when you forgive, you allow yourself to grow. You know, you allow yourself to let it go, like Danielle said. You allow yourself to let it go and to move forward, and it keeps you from holding on to things that stop your progress.
Right.
You know,
We said unforgiveness stops your
progress. Yes,
Absolutely.
it does. It stops your progress. It really does. It stops you in your tracks, and it keeps you stuck in a place that you don't necessarily want to be stuck. Sometimes we want to be stuck in the place, but sometimes some of us don't want to be stuck in that place, and we just don't know how, or we're just unwilling, or unable to forgive because, one, we probably don't have the tools or the know-how, and it keeps us from walking in true forgiveness and true healing. Right.
And like Lanika said, when you forgive, you heal. Absolutely. Like, that's really the effect of it.
Yep.
Is you get wounded in some way, whether you're disappointed,
Yep.
whether you've been lied on, cheated on, you've been disrespected, you've been let down in some type of way. As a result, or consequently, you are angry and you get wounded.
Yes.
You know, you're like a wounded dog, and it's hard for anybody to perform when you're a wounded dog.
That's right.
Like, if you're running a race, you're trying to achieve these goals and you're trying to go hard, but you can't if you got a huge limp. You know, if your kneecaps is damaged, if you've been cut, if you've been beat down, if you've been disrespected by the person that you love most, it's hard for you to actually move forward in that relationship. So it's important, right? It's important that we do forgive, because unforgiveness is a killer.
Yeah.
It's a robber. It's a robber of moments.
Yep.
And a lot of times it's a robber of your marriage. It may not kill you physically, but it can.
But it absolutely
because people could deal with so much depression, anxiety, to where their blood pressure, their blood pressure rises, and you know it when your blood pressure rises, it actually shrinks your arteries, and you know, if you eat more, which could in turn allow your cholesterol to go up, which could it's so many things that could stop you.
Unforgiveness is like a blockage. It's like a blockage in your arteries. It doesn't allow anything else to flow. Like, it doesn't allow love to flow.
That's right, Erica.
It doesn't allow peace to flow. It doesn't allow humility to flow. It doesn't allow patience to flow. It doesn't allow kindness to flow, because that hardened blockage that you have, or that we have sometimes, causes the inability for those other good things to flow in us, because we're so hardened.
And it's very tough. You know, like it's hard or difficult for a wound to heal when it continually is touched or picked at.
Yes.
You know, a lot of issues, like I have spots on my body because unfortunately I'm a picker, you know, and the more you pick, the more visible the spots. And that's what happens in our relationship. Whether there's a picking on your side, you're meditating on that thing, you know, I'm hurt, I'm mad as ever. And that thing becomes a part of your nervous system.
Yeah.
And it's a part of your DNA. So like we're creatures of habit.
Yeah.
So your habit will become angry all the time. Even when the person didn't do anything, you're angry. You know, so we got to learn how to let those things heal. You know what I'm saying? And there are different ways. We don't want to get specifically or deep into that, but we got to stop picking and meditating. And the person that actually caused the offense need to stop pressing play on those movies.
That's true.
And stop reminding them of the sore or the C-section scar that they have.
Yeah.
Because that brings about insecurity and hurt, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So it's important that we do heal, because it blocks us, right? Have you ever think about it, babe? And there's levels to hurt. there are real issues that people have, right?
Yeah.
You know, when you think about like infidelity or some type of abuse or consistent letdowns or people being talked about or inconsiderate or
Yeah.
there's contempt in your relationship. You know, we can understand that there's a process,
Mm-hmm.
but some people just be mad to be mad.
Yeah.
You know, and I think about moments like pettiness and people don't unforgive for like stupid reasons sometimes. And the brother took you on a trip. He said he's sorry. What do you want him to do? He thought
We want
taking
him
you
to-
on this trip was
we want
going
him
to
to keep
help
proving it.
your madness, but you tripping
Yep.
in Bahamas. What do you mean? You know how
Yeah.
much? You know,
Some
how
people
much-
really feel like they have the right to just be mad.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
some people truly feel like, you know, I got the right to be mad. They did
Yeah.
it. You
Yeah.
know, so now they have to suffer through the storm.
Right, so they want to pay. They want. I don't want to say reciprocity. Well,
No,
reciprocity.
it would be reciprocity.
Or they want their. There's a word for that. That you are not devious, but you are vindictive.
Vindictive,
You know,
yes.
you want that person to feel the pain that you felt before. But if you are on the same team, if you're wounded, why would you want to wound the other person?
Right.
Because it's just going to stop the production even more.
Right.
And more. Right.
Right.
So just thinking about this, like, it's very hard for people, you know, to forgive. I mean, look, it's hard, y'all.
It is.
You know, it's very hard. I've
It's
been
not
through hurt.
easy. Yeah, it's not easy. And sometimes people could say it's just as easy as just forgive them and just
Yeah.
move on. But sometimes it really isn't that easy.
Right. It's not. It's not.
And we want to believe that it really is that easy, because when we say that, we have all of these myths that run through our head, right? When we say that it's just so easy to forgive, it's like, well, if it's just so easy to forgive them, is it just like giving them a pass?
Right.
Is it just saying that it's okay that they did
Right.
what they did? You know, does it make me look weak if I just go ahead and forgive them? I mean,
Right.
it's so many different
So many
myths that go
variables,
through our heads when we think about, you know, I could just forgive them, but wait a minute, what does that say about me?
Right.
Sometimes people really have that deep, like, thought process,
Yeah,
like
pride. Yeah.
because ultimately that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, when you feel that way, like, am I approving what they did? Do I validate what they did? If I say I'll forgive them, will they just continue on doing the same thing over and over if I just forgive them?
Right.
A lot of times that's why certain people don't want to forgive, because they feel like they will validate that person if they do.
Right. Right. And what we
know?
fail to realize, especially if you're married, that you're on the same team. Like, it's not you two fighting one another. You two need to couple or come together and fight the issue, or
Yeah.
do whatever it takes to overcome those issues that you're having. Right. You know, so why is it hard for people to heal? Why is it hard for people to forgive and heal? And one of the reasons are that people, when you're wounded, when you've been hurt day in and day out consistently, over and over again, by maybe in your past relationship or your current relationships, it's like you are really damaged goods.
Yeah.
And you're fearful of loving again. You're fearful of opening up. You're fearful of doing things that you used to do, because the things that you used to do didn't work out for you.
Yeah.
You know, you gave your all. You know, you committed to somebody. You were faithful. You know, you fixed them dinner. You know, he brought home the bacon or whatever you qualify or quantify as value to somebody. You know, you were his lover. You know, he was his everything, and then he did that or she did that over and over and over again.
Yeah.
When you hurt, it's hard for you to forgive.
Yeah.
Because now you're in an emotional state of bondage.
Yeah.
To where anything practical or rational you cannot hear.
Absolutely.
Your emotions actually overtake you, and now it's not just it's not just in your mind, it's in your spirit. It's in your unconscious mind.
It's in your unconscious.
You
It's
know,
in your nervous
It's in your nervous. It's in your body. And when people have been abused or experienced trauma, let down, or whatever it is, you know, when you've been beat, man, you just don't want to be beat anymore, and it's hard for you to just forgive.
Yeah.
You know, and unfortunately, we have people in relationships that have actually lived through that, right? Mm-hmm. So it's tough, you know. And also another reason, honey, is that some people are just, it's hard for you to really, I guess, forgive the person that you're with, because the other person, the person that you're with, is unapologetic. Like, you think you
That's-
can just do what you want to do to this person, say what
That's
you want to
good.
say to this person, and don't apologize,
Yeah.
as if it doesn't mean anything, or as if,
Or a half-assed apology, right?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
they may apologize, but are they really truly apologetic? Did you
Yeah.
really feel that when they apologized? Or
Right.
was it just I'm sorry.
yeah, man.
You know, I was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. You know, and it lacked sincerity. It wasn't genuine.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You knew that when they left out, they were probably going to do the same thing again.
Yeah.
You know, and that sucks.
It sucks.
Like that really
Right.
sucks because it puts the person on an emotional roller coaster. It puts that victim on an emotional roller coaster.
Right.
And here you are saying that you're sorry. And yes, I should be able to accept that apology. But really, when it's half-assed and disingenuine,
with no remorse,
with
you
no
know, with no
remorse.
emotion,
Or with no
conviction, or
regard.
no regard,
yeah,
right?
to how the other person,
With no sincerity,
Yeah,
lacking
feels.
sincerity. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
then you put that person in a bad spot.
But we expect that person to function 100%. We expect the person that we love to just get over it. But some things we can't just get over.
Yeah.
Some things take time, and
Yeah.
we need to be conscious and know that we are all human beings. And if that person would have done that to you, how would you would have
Yeah.
felt? Do you think that you could overcome that abuse?
Right.
Do you think that you could just bounce back from you sneaking around or
Right.
cheating? Do you think that he can be respectful to you when you totally like disrespectful to him and tear him down?
Right.
You know, so we got to show more empathy. And if we do apologize, we got to come with sincerity.
Yeah.
And a lot of us, and because we're so common with one another, we belittle the pain, or we belittle the hurt that we're dishing, right?
Yeah. I
And
think
it makes you feel unworthy
And
or insignificant, right?
insignificant. I think that's the word. It makes you feel insignificant, as if how you feel doesn't matter to that other person, you know, because they don't really care.
Yeah.
Like they don't care, or at least they're not showing that
Right.
that they care, you know. And so it leaves you feeling very small. It leaves your feelings, you know, it leaves you feeling like they don't care about how you truly feel. You know,
Right.
it's like, throw me out, you know.
Absolutely.
And that's the sad part, is that people do that to people really often, you know.
Yeah.
And then they expect for the other person to just get over it. Like, I said I was sorry. You
Right.
know?
And when we're going to get into these two sides, I know the topic is the two sides we want to talk
Right,
about.
yeah.
And it is, you know, people are fearful. They like, aren't they worthy? Like, you know, if you come into your spouse or your partner with this old half-tail type apology,
Right.
when no, sometimes you need to be on your knees from the damage that you've done. You need to show some type of remorse.
No,
you need to show
seriously.
some type of preferential treatment or humility to let that person know that I'm honestly sorry.
Yeah.
That I understand what I've done. Not like, I'm sorry, or belittling your
Yeah.
acts. Like, it might not be significant to you.
Or
but
don't
it-
do anything to continue to show
Yeah.
your humility.
And that's what takes people, that's what it takes longer.
You
And there's
know?
another point about why
It's
does
like
it
you
take
just
long?
keep
It's because
on.
of the track record.
Yeah.
There's no behavioral change.
Like, you don't
It's
ch-
like
you don't
he's
do
saying, I'm
anything.
sorry, keep doing it. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
keep doing it. I'm sorry.
or
And then they're
maybe
like, "Come
not
on,
even
man."
or maybe not even keep actually doing the thing that may have hurt you, but
Mm-hmm.
not having any humility in the things that they're doing that even led up to them hurting you.
Right, right.
You know, if you know you sneaking around on your phone is something that got you in trouble or makes him or her feel a certain way, then don't do that.
Right.
You know,
Right.
do the opposite of that, because a lot of times it's like, oh no, you know, they good, they get over it. And we keep doing the same thing. We keep displaying the same bad behaviors over and over again, and expecting that person to walk in a level of forgiveness as if we're worthy of that forgiveness, or
Yeah.
or as if we've shown that we are forgivable.
Right.
I will say.
And we can go even deeper, and this whole segment can be about trust. We don't want to get into trust.
I know you don't want to get into trust, but
trust,
for
you
me,
know,
that's
when
what
the
it all
trust
boils
is
down
broken,
to.
you know, that's hard to restore that. And unfortunately, a lot of people aren't willing to take that hammer, that nail, that whatever equipment that they need and time that they need to put that thing back together.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people have destroyed so much that it's taken a lot to rebuild.
Yeah.
But if you love that person, you got to pick up that hammer.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to have to get up early. You're going to have to do the opposite of what you've done to actually build that bridge, right?
Right.
So there are a lot of reasons, you know, why it's hard for people to forgive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that people want to forgive, but some don't want to forgive.
Yeah.
But for the vast majority, we want to forgive, you know, because who wants to live in a house as a prisoner?
Yeah.
You know, who want to be with somebody and you feel like you can't move forward or you can't go anywhere? I don't think anybody purposely want to live like that. I think everybody want to have a prosperous life.
Well, I don't know, honey. There are some of us that are okay with
right.
it.
But they might they might want both.
Yeah, they do.
Their pettiness or whatever they might be dealing with it's like you can't have both.
Yes.
You know, but ultimately I think as sober humans with good morals and ethics and with right mindset, you know, and values, they will want that, right?
Absolutely. I will hope so, right? Because who, like you said, who wants to live in a house as a prisoner?
Right. Give us some hearts,
You
man.
know.
If you love it, what we're talking about, give us some hearts. We love hearts, right?
But yeah, but there are some who don't mind the pettiness, who actually thrive in it. They feel good about it. They want to hold on to it.
They want to stay mad.
They want to stay
So they want to
mad.
hold on
Yeah.
to the grudges.
Absolutely.
That's a part of their DNA.
That's a part. Yeah.
That is a part of who they are.
It's
That's
deep.
how they function.
It's deep-rooted.
They are dysfunctional, right?
Yes, yes.
That's their normal.
Yes.
And anything outside of that is abnormal.
Yes.
You know, and unfortunately, that's
Like seriously, like you know that because there are people in our lives that will be like, no, it's too much peace over there.
oh man,
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, I ain't coming over there. It's too
Right.
much peace.
Right.
You know,
and they equate that to perfection. You know, they
what-
equate your lifestyle as if you think that you're better. No, peace is a necessity. It is a demand.
it's a necessity in
requirement
this
for
house.
us to function or
Yeah.
people around us to function. You know, so if you're dysfunctional, don't blame other people or judge other people for respecting one another as if it's fake, you know, like as if they're like, oh yeah, they're going to trip when they go home. No, we're not going to trip when we go home. That's not our normal. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's perfect, but we're not.
no, that's
just
true.
because you're beating each other over the head doesn't mean that everybody does that.
Right.
You know, so it's crazy how that happens, but we
Yeah.
do got to learn how to forgive, right?
Yeah. No, but some people do. They do like to stay there.
They're stubborn, right?
They're stubborn. They're
Right.
very stubborn.
Hold
and,
grudges, petty.
Yeah.
You know,
And they okay. They okay with like living like that.
Yeah.
Because anything you can do, I can do better.
and
I
they
can
don't
do
want to
anything
forgive. They
better
don't want.
than
They
you.
just want to be mad. So
It's like you think you hurt me, I can hurt you 10 times worse
Right.
than you ever hurt me. And they will be petty purposely,
Right.
just to prove a point. They will hold a grudge purposely just to prove a point.
Wow.
Not even dealing with like just unforgiveness, just because they petty. Like
Gotta forgive,
why would you want to continue living like that?
right?
Like
Because
day
it's
in
a
and
part-
day out.
right? It's a part of their I don't want to say habitat or it's just a part of. It's like animals, how certain animals might function in the jungle or they do things a certain way, but that those habits or that mindset or pride or pettiness or whatever it is counterproductive
Yeah.
to where you want to go. So if you want a good relationship, if you have goals, if you want to have more, if you want to be more, you want to see more, you want to do more, we got to put these childish things behind, right?
Absolutely.
You know, and it's unfortunate because we have good people that get divorced because of like dumb things, you know, like, so we got to learn how to mature, and that's relationships is about maturity, right? But I want to talk about the two sides, you know, just to get an understanding of the two sides
Okay.
and the problems that the two sides have and what a discovery or we need to be enlightened, I believe.
Yeah.
Because I think that we put pressure on each other, but we don't have a collective effort in trying to go through this process, you know, because the weight can be really heavy when there's unforgiveness, when you have a problem. But unfortunately, everybody have their own expectations. The person that's the victim, they have expectations, and the person that is the offender, he has expectations,
Or she
right?
has,
Or
yeah.
she has expectations. But there's a thing on Channel 2. It says, "It takes two, baby.
Ooh, that's
It
so
takes
old.
two, baby." And that's the problem, I believe, in people that are married or people that are in a monogamous relationship or serious committed. And I'm not talking about the boyfriend, girlfriend thing, fight, break up. He ain't serious. He don't know if he want to commit to you. She don't know if she wanted you to be her sugar dad or what. I'm talking about committed folks that want to have
like in real
a
relationships.
productive,
yeah.
prosperous, amazing relationship. We can have it, but unfortunately the problem here is that the person that's the victim is expecting the offender to heal them. And the
Ooh.
offender is expecting the victim to get over
To
it.
hurry up and heal.
But they need to know that healing and forgiveness is a collaborative effort.
Babe,
It's
that
going to
was
take
really good,
both
yeah.
of you to resolve this issue, this bottleneck, because it's not a you. If we get into it, baby, if we have an issue, it's not a you issue. We are a team. So we have to connect.
But how are we a team if you were the one that hurt me?
Well, it
How
happens.
how shouldn't you be responsible for healing me?
And that's exactly-
if you did the hurting.
And that's the exact mindset that the wounded have sometimes.
Yeah.
But if you are the victim, you have to play a role in your healing
Yeah.
as well. You can just lay down and expect God to do it. Like they say, won't he do it? No, he'll help you do it. So that means you have to contribute
Yeah.
to the process.
Yeah.
You have to contribute to your healing, to forgive. You got to do things as well as the offender has to do things as well, right?
So why is it that you think the victim feels that it is the responsibility of the offender to help them heal or to heal them, not to help them heal, but to heal them?
To heal them, because they feel like the mindset, you done it. So you're going to have to, and I'm not implying that there aren't steps, because we'll get to the offender in a minute.
Oh, yeah.
But the victim need to understand that they have to have some level of empathy. They have to have some level of responsibility. They have to have some level of willingness to do their part and not just lay down there and die, because a wounded soldier won't lay there and die. A wounded soldier will take cover. And if he have a walkie-talkie, he's going to call and say, "Man down, where are you guys to come and save me?"
Right.
He's going to crawl to safety. And unfortunately, when we wounded, we sometimes have a pity party and feel like people have to save us and we don't have to do anything to self-heal.
Right.
Or to self-medicate, whatever that might
Right.
be. If it's prayer, if it's going to God and asking God to heal your heart, if it's trying to research, seeing if there are therapists, in the area, or even just being a little open to the person, especially if they're trying to prove themselves,
Yeah.
to have a little patient understanding and empathy, knowing that person, especially if it isn't big and if this isn't a consistent occurrence,
Yeah.
like that person is human.
Yeah.
So we have to give people grace and we have to give people mercy. So if you've been forgiven, you need to forgive. And I'm about to push my religion on you.
that's
but
so
if you are in the
true,
church,
though.
if Christ has forgiven you, he forgave you for all of your crap.
Yeah.
If you believe in Jesus and all, God and all that, this isn't a religious program, but that's what we subscribe to. And that's why I believe that we're able to overcome, because our motto is Christ.
Right.
He helps us. If freely receive, freely give, right?
But it ain't always that easy.
It's not easy.
It's not always that easy.
Right.
Because I'm not Christ. I'm Toria.
Yeah, right. You're a human being, right?
He not Christ. He's Steve.
Right.
So if I kick him and I make him hurt, he probably gonna be mad.
Right.
He's probably gonna be
And
pissed
that's a
off.
natural reaction, though, right?
Absolutely.
Right, but we can't just sit there and expect the person that offended us to heal us.
Right.
He might not have the know-how.
Right.
He might not have the tools.
Yeah.
He's doing, or she's doing everything that she can. Maybe if there was infidelity, now she's coming home. Now she's remorseful.
Right.
She's been doing this for a year. She's been consistent, but you still haven't forgiven her.
Right.
No, that's not how it goes. You have to participate in your healing. And I don't know exactly what that is, because you need to know the context of people's situation. But the wounded have to participate.
Yeah.
That's the two sides. You have the wounded, you have the offender, or you have the victim, you have the offender. But it's both of those people responsibility to get to the other side.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. And I think sometimes as the victim, you know, and I say we because we've all been a victim at some
Right.
point in our lives, right?
Some disappointment. right?
Absolutely.
Hurt.
At some point of our lives, we've all been a victim. And I think we really have to take the responsibility of our healing into our own hands, because if that person never, ever apologizes, where does that leave you?
Right.
If that person never truly is remorseful, where does that leave you? If that person truly goes on and is unapologetic, where does that leave you?
Right.
And I think that that's kind of like the mindset that we have to take, is that forgiveness isn't for them. Like we're not forgiving them for them to make them feel better.
Right.
You know, we're forgiving because it does something for us
Right.
internally. You know, it does something for my mind. It does something for my heart. Like it does something for my mental space.
Right.
You know, it keeps me from feeling like vengeance is mine. You know, and so I think we do have to bear that responsibility of taking our healing into our own hands, because you're not going to always get the apology. You're not
Right.
going to always.
But can I interject?
Yeah.
No, it is their marital responsibility
It
to
is.
apologize.
Absolutely.
You know, so it is your responsibility. If
Absolutely.
you dug the hole, you have to dig out of it.
Absolutely.
Now let's talk about that offender, because you keep on doing the same thing over and over
Absolutely.
again and expecting this person's wounds to be healed.
Mm.
But you keep on hitting it. You keep on hitting that sore spot.
Yeah.
So, but you want love at night. But you want respect. But you want to have a happy ending. But you want him to take you on these beautiful, elaborate trips, and you can't even respect him. You know, you disrespect his mama.
No, that's so
You know,
true.
you talk to him like a fool. You know, you're at home and he's just asking you can you at least wash my clothes? You ain't even doing that.
Right.
You know, you're talking to her any kind of way. You're
Right.
being disrespectful. You're making all of these promises and letting them down over and over and over again, but we expect them to function properly, but there's a bottleneck.
Yeah.
But you want to be this power couple. But you want peace in your home.
Ooh.
You know, it won't happen until two people come together and as a team and figure this thing out together. There are many ways, but I guess at the end of the day, on both sides, we need to make a collaborative effort and we need to team up as one team and one unit to see what could we do to overcome this pain that we're having, because it looks like it's a personal issue, but now it's a family or marital issue.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's our responsibility to fix that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because if we don't, it spills over.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it spills over into the areas that we don't want it to spill over
Yeah.
into. We don't want our kids to know we having marital issues. We
Right.
don't want our kids to know mommy and daddy are not getting along. We don't want our children to have to feel like, oh, our mommy and daddy gonna get a divorce because
yeah.
they've been arguing a lot lately, or daddy may be sleeping on the couch, or they're not talking to one another. Sometimes we think like we're able to hide things from our
They're
children,
not
like they
stupid.
don't see
Right.
these things that are happening in our relationship. And it is, like Ruby said, it is a trickle down effect.
Absolutely.
You know, it starts to spill over into so many other areas and you don't even realize it, you know? And so we both have to bear the responsibility
Absolutely.
of healing,
Right.
you know, of moving forward,
Right.
because there's no way to make this thing new if we don't decide that we together are going to move forward.
Yeah, and it starts, keyword, baby, and that's great. A decision. You have to decide
Yeah.
that this relationship is worth saving.
Yeah.
That we don't want to stay where we are. We're both stressed out. The kids are suffering. I'm suffering. I can't stand you. You can't stand me. Are we going to live like this forever?
Yeah.
Or are we going to get up as wounded soldiers and try to figure this thing out.
And sometimes it might only be one person.
Yeah, but the one and just the thought, babe, and I've heard this before, how thank God you don't do this because it would be a struggle. But we try to punish people. And if
like
a brother
vengeance is mine.
yes, and if a brother has done or your wife or your partner has done something maybe that was hurtful, I'm not saying that. I know that it takes time to heal. Right? We understand that. But if it's been 3 and 4 years and you're saying that I can't make love to him because he did that, you're not even trying. Mm-hmm. Are you trying to make? I don't think it'll feel right. Well, lay down and see. I'm kidding. No, but like,
no, that's the truth.
Do it. Do it hurt. Do it fearful. Do
Yeah.
it scared.
Yeah.
And it won't be that bad if you see that there's a behavioral change on the other side. It's your obligation to say, you know what? Now it's on me.
Yeah.
This person has proven themselves worthy of my forgiveness, of my respect, of my honor now.
Yeah.
So now you got to get off of your petty seat,
Yeah.
and you got to do something about it. But on the flip side, if you've hurt somebody, you have to do whatever it takes to fix it.
That's right.
You it's not your responsibility to do it 100%, but you have you are a major or intricate part in that process.
Yeah, for
so
real.
you have to do things differently.
And
Right?
like you
have to,
said,
right?
sometimes you got to do it from a hurt place.
Yeah, man.
Like sometimes you literally have to walk in forgiveness. It's a choice. Like every
Yeah.
single step of the way, it is a choice.
It is a choice.
Like,
it is a choice.
For real, for
Yeah.
real. Like you said, like, I don't want to lay down with him. Do it anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to wash his clothes. Do it anyway.
Right.
I don't want to clean her car out and go pump her gas. Do it anyway.
anyway.
You know, like really it's a conscious effort
Right.
every single step of
Yeah.
the way. Sometimes forgiveness can be instant. It really can.
it can.
And then sometimes it's a for real journey.
Yeah.
Like to forgiveness.
Right.
Like it's a real journey. Like
Tough journey sometimes.
and you might have to pack a bag. You might have to pack a lunch. You might have to pitch a tent. But you're going to have to go on that journey with
Yeah.
that person, especially if you're the cause
Right.
of it.
Right.
If you are the one dishing out the hurt, then you're going to have to go
You
on
have to
that
kiss some butt.
journey.
You're gonna have to kiss some tail.
Yeah.
If you've done a lot of damage, you're gonna have to double down and show some humility.
Show some
And you're
humility,
gonna
yeah.
have to do some time,
Yeah.
brother. You're gonna have to do some time, sister.
Yep.
Yeah, you might say, oh, it don't take all. No, it's gonna take all that,
Yep.
right?
Sometimes it does.
To rebuild that trust, to show that I'm here, right?
Sometimes it does.
Yeah, it does.
Sometimes it really is you take a sip, I take a sip.
It is.
Sometimes it really is, baby, do you want a donut? You want me to go get you this?
Yeah.
You want me to go do that? Because sometimes you got to know your spouse, because sometimes it don't take all of that for
Right.
every single person, but know whom you're dealing with. And ladies and gentlemen, we can't be that petty either to be
Right.
like, oh no, he gonna have to hurt. I really
Yeah,
forgive him
yeah,
inside,
yeah.
but since he doing all of this, I'm gonna keep letting him think, you know.
Yeah, you can't.
We
do
can't
that.
do that either. But sometimes you really do got to pitch that tent, honey,
Yeah, man. Mm-hmm.
and put in that work. You dug that hole. You know what I'm saying? Scoop your way up out of it.
Right.
You know, scoop your way right on up out of it by doing what you got to do to make sure that person is secure
Right.
in you and in the relationship
Absolutely.
moving forward.
Absolutely. That's right. Michelle said true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We believe that. And it's going to take, people don't want to put in the work.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one of the things. But if you did it, aren't they valuable or worthy enough for you to rebuild it?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I think that if that person is special to you, especially if you've done something wrong to them, no, even if it's just an issue.
But you know what?
Yes.
Sometimes some people feel like they've gone too far and done
Yeah,
too much.
yeah, right.
That is no longer even
No coming
worth
back.
it. There ain't
But-
no coming back from
Right.
it.
That's because it's an uphill climb.
Yes.
It's like, man.
And they not
it's been,
willing
uh,
at
2
this
months.
point.
It's been 3 months. It's been a year.
It's been
man.
a year.
Been
It's
2
been
years.
2 years.
But the reason being is because women like there was a saying that I love Miles Monroe, and he talked about how men are file cabinets, right? Like you can say something or do something to us to a point though. There's certain things, you know, we're more sensitive than women, but I digress, right? But there's certain things that you could do and we'll file it, process it, put it in the file cabinet, it'll never come up.
Right.
But women, you are emotional fillers.
Yeah.
To where if we say something to you, like if you say, shut up, stupid, we'll process it, file it, put it in the cabinet. But if we say you're acting stupid, women, oh, you call me stupid.
You call me stupid?
Because you
You're calling me
internalize
stupid?
things, right? You interpret things a different way, and you have these pop-ups. So, men, this is
That's
a tip
crazy
for you.
because it's crazy that you say that though,
Yeah.
because we have a child that actually does that. Like you can say something and she is going to perceive it a whole nother way.
Absolutely, and that's why we have to understand the person that we're with, and of course, we are all thinkers and fillers.
Yep.
You know, some women are, I don't want to say harder, but some women are even tough, like emotionally. Some of them don't really budge, but for the majority, men are more, I don't want to say thinkers, but we process things more, and women are more emotional fillers. So men, my point here is that men, we can't do the same thing to women as they do to us.
Right.
They can throw a ball at us, it'll bounce off. But if we throw that same ball at them, then it's like, we can't do nothing. You know, 10 years later, the pop up, bloop, remember what happened?
You call my mama fat. Like, what?
Now you call me fat.
No, but it was this meme that I just saw the other day, and it was like, in every relationship is psychological. One is psycho and the other is logical. Don't try to determine who is who. But anyway, it just made me think of that, because sometimes we're not always logical. We sometimes as women, we're not always thinking logically, because we're feeling.
Right.
I'm feeling what you're saying.
And we all have feelings.
Yeah, I'm feeling what you did. I'm feeling what you said. I'm feeling how you went about your day, knowing that I felt how I was feeling.
Right.
I'm feeling all of these things. So now, yeah, you're going to have to work triple overtime to work on how I'm feeling, because you should know that I feel this way and that way, and you need to correct those things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We don't always think logically. We're constantly
We don't-
feeling
right.
things.
We don't either. You know,
I'm less of a feeler as a woman, but for most women, we truly are, yes, emotional creatures, Michelle. We are exactly that. We are emotional creatures. We feel everything. You say something to us, we feel it. We don't hear it, we feel it.
you have
What'd
an
you say?
experience. Women have an experience with things.
Yeah.
And I think I know we're hardwired differently. I understand that. And we all have the same emotions. We all are intellectual. We all are logical thinkers.
Absolutely.
And we're not implying that men are smarter
No,
than
absolutely
women,
not.
or women are
No.
way more emotional than men, because we got some, you need a man with, we got some Keith Sweats out here.
Sensitivity.
You know what I'm saying? I try not to be, I got to control my keep sweatiness, because I can be a little Keith Sweat too. But we got to learn how to balance that thing out. But society sometimes calluses men.
Yeah.
You know, to where it's not cool to feel.
Right, it's not
You
cool
know,
to, yeah.
Right. So we bury a lot of our emotions, and that's why we don't converse on maybe an intimate level. You know, when we get together, we talk about sports. We talk about, hey man, that's a nice car. You know, we don't
But you don't
have
talk
heart
about
move.
how you made your wife feel when you
No.
did X, Y, and Z.
But why would we do that? Like, yeah,
'Cause
dog,
that's a
you know, shit, I
conversation
made my wife
that
feel
sometimes
dumb.
we need to have.
Like, man, you should have heard what I called. No, but
Sometimes that's a
no, of course,
conversation
we
that
don't-
men need to
no, but
have.
Women don't have that, though. You don't
No,
say, you
women,
know
we
what?
do have that.
You know what I did to my husband? You know,
No, women, we do have conversations. We do have good conversation about how we feel. You know, what happens, what our experiences are in our relationship. We don't share everything.
Right. I understand that.
Some do, some don't. You know, depends on your comfortability and depends on, you know, what you are okay with sharing. But women, we share stuff.
Right. But I was just saying, I don't think women, you get with, well, you probably
No,
do.
we
I'm not a
do.
woman. However, the whole idea, the whole premise.
We have
right,
waiting
is
to exhale
that
moments.
we are all creatures, right? We all have these we all have minds and feelings and
Yes.
emotions. We all have a soul. We all have a spirit, right? So but we got to learn how to deal with this, So we want to give some tips though, babe. I know we're going and we don't want to go too far. It's after 8:00 and we
Is there some comments in here that you want to read?
we got a few here. Let's see. We can be emotional
Yeah,
creatures.
look, Shanitra, don't we get together and
Let's see.
share?
Hello, cuz.
Cause we will get together and share, honey. We will share. I'm not gonna share to make you look bad, but I'm definitely gonna share with my girlfriends and let them know how I felt about the situation.
Yeah.
Because it's necessary. It's necessary for my healing.
Right.
Like I need to be able to share that with somebody because I'm not gonna always be able to share that with you because you might not understand.
Right.
And that's why having good girlfriends is necessary.
Right. It is.
That's why having good guy friends is necessary because you're able to share certain things with them and then they're able to give you the truth about it and say, well, maybe you're being petty.
Right.
Maybe you need to go back and apologize. Maybe you could have did something a little differently. So we share and sometimes we overshare and that's okay.
But that's why you women have ventilation systems. Or you have outlets to share. And we know anything without a ventilation system that requires electricity or some type of heat, if it does not have a ventilation system, it will explode or blow up or
Yes.
be hot. And unfortunately, there are a lot of angry men out there because we don't have an outlet.
Yes.
We weren't able to channel or tap into our emotions or to share because it wasn't cool to share.
Absolutely.
What are you being sensitive for? What you mean? No.
That's the dumbest
we're
thing.
supposed to suck things up and hold it. We're the man. We're
That's
the
so
protectors. That's a sign of weakness if you do share how you feel on the inside. But that's why there are a lot of angry husbands.
I was gonna say,
there are a lot
what's
of angry
weak
boyfriends,
is
men,
exploding.
partners, and boys. Right.
Yep.
So we got to learn how to vet. But you got to be strategic and use wisdom. Because you can't tell your business to everybody,
Absolutely.
of course. So that's why you need to find people that you trust, that are confidants to unpack, if you will,
Yes.
these issues or just to have a shoulder or ear to speak to. You know what I'm saying?
I
So it's
agree with
important.
that.
It's very
I really do.
important. But can we give a few tips, baby? If you don't mind?
Sure.
We want to give a few tips, and one of these tips to accelerating the forgiveness or the hurt is that number one is that it took two people to tango, but sometimes it takes 2, 3, or 4 to get out of it.
That's so true.
So if you have an issue,
That's so true.
you deal with unforgiveness, or you have an issue that's bigger than you. If you can't resolve it, you need to bring in number one, go to God. If you believe in God, go to God and pray. Lord, help us with this. Help me with this hurt. Help me heal my husband's hurt, my partner's hurt. What did I do? What could I do better? Give me a behavioral change. Renew my mind, renew my soul, clean my heart. Show me, give me strategy, direct me in the right way. What books to read? What, show me what to do. And if God, that's 3. If you can't do it, you need to get a human being.
Yes.
You need to get a therapist.
Yes.
You need to get a pastor. You need to get a psychiatrist, a psychologist, somebody that's going to help you get out of your rut because it might be too big for you. So it took 2, but it might take 3 or 4 to get you out of this situation,
ding,
right?
ding, ding, ding. Sometimes that is the case, that it really is too big for just the two of you to handle.
Right.
And it's not a shot at you to say you need somebody else's help.
And I do not want to interrupt you, but look, getting help does not mean that you're weak.
Oh my God.
Getting help means or imply that you are strong and you deem your relationship as valuable.
Yes.
So you gonna humble yourself to the lowest low if you need to, just to make things right.
Getting help
right?
says you value your own self. Like, I value
Absolutely.
my mental state.
Absolutely.
I value, like, it don't, just because you save or you super save, like,
And church folks are the worst with it. I don't mean to bring the church, but some won't he do it? Nah, he ain't gonna help.
No.
He won't do. He'll help your heart. He'll give you direction, but you got to get your tail up.
And
you
you-
have to apply.
yes.
Right. What
and
he's
you
telling you to
have
do. Right.
to get help. Like, it's okay. Like, for real. And I know we say that all the time, but somebody really needs to hear it because in our community, help has been deemed unnecessary.
Right.
Like growing up, help was unnecessary. Oh no, you can just talk to the pastor. The pastor may not know
Yeah.
how to help
Or
me.
the knowledge and tools
He
to help
don't
you in that
have
area.
all the tools to help us in
Right.
every area of our life. Maybe, just maybe, he's struggling with the same issue and can't help you.
Right.
And maybe you really need to see
Facts.
a professional because
Yeah.
that's what they do.
That's what they do.
That's what they do, like for a living. If you need brain surgery, you're going to go to the doctor.
Preach.
If you need heart surgery, you're going to go to the doctor. If you need mental help, emotional help,
Therapy.
go
Family guidance.
see a therapist, guys.
Yes.
It's-
yes.
They are God's helpers in
Man.
the earth.
Right.
Like they are God's hands in the earth.
Right.
Sometimes you just need to talk your way through your own healing.
Yeah.
The therapist might not say nothing to
Yeah.
you of value.
You probably just need to unpack.
You just
and
need
that's
to.
what happens in relationships. You're both there's so much friction that you can't even communicate.
can't even communicate it.
Unpack. You know, you can't unpack because maybe the person disregard what you're saying,
Yeah.
belittle your feelings, or maybe you just don't know how to do it.
Or
without
maybe you
going crazy,
hypersensitive,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Or maybe you hypersensitive and everything that person says is offensive.
Yeah.
Because you're just a super offensive person
Yeah.
in general. Like, so nobody can say anything to you because you take everything the wrong way.
Right.
So maybe you do need to hear it from somebody else that says, hey, they're not saying anything wrong. You're just super offensive. Maybe
Yeah.
you're just hypersensitive.
Yeah.
You know, because this is how they're saying what they're saying, and this is what you should hear from it when they say it. But you don't hear it that way. You hear it as an attack. Sometimes you need a
No,
mediator.
They don't hear anything.
They don't hear. Yeah.
You don't hear anything.
Sometimes we don't.
But that's why somebody said, I think it was you, babe, earlier, that said a desire. You got to have a desire, to do it. If you don't desire to make things better, you're not gonna react the proper way
Yeah.
because you're not open to it. Healing and forgiveness start with willingness, which I might as well
Yes.
introduce this since we're saying this
Yes.
to segue into it. And we call this the WPP, and it's an acronym. It's number one, that if you want to accelerate healing or be forgiven or whatever it is, you have to apply the W, which is willingness.
Yeah.
Number two is P, is participation. And number three is the other P, which is patient. So you got to be willing.
Yeah.
You got to be willing. There's a scripture that says, and I know this is out of context, but it's a principle, though. It's a universal principle. If you are willing, right, and obedient, you'll eat the what? The good of the land, right? So you got to be willing. Not just be willing, but you have to participate and know that this is a family issue. This is an issue that both of you need to work hard at so that you can overcome. If you really want to win, you'll be invested. I know that he did it, man. I know that he hurt you. But you know what? You're going to have to put your big girl pants on, your big boy pants on, and say, you know what? I'm going to do what I can to contribute toward our healing, because this is a family issue. And a family issue actually turns out to be a generational issue, and it perpetuates itself over and over again. So if your mama didn't forgive, you didn't forgive. Then your daughter's not going to forgive, or your son's not going to forgive. Then his grandson's not. So you got to have a habit or a ritual of just trying to figure things out and doing what it takes, having the willingness and the participation, and also the patience to know that it's going to take time, because healing takes time. If I crack my head, it ain't gonna go back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right?
That's so true.
And sometimes you need to be stitched up, and that requires a doctor.
Yeah.
So that's why you need that help.
And I like that we use patience and not just necessarily time, because some people will be like, oh, it's gonna take time. Like it's gonna. Well, ma'am, how much time? Like
10 years?
No, I'm not
Yes,
ready.
sir, Michael.
I'm not ready. Well, ma'am, sir, when are you gonna be ready?
Yeah.
Instead of time, you really do have to say patience, because it's not, like we said, it won't be instant, and sometimes it will. But you got to have patience for whatever that journey is going to be. And you have to keep coaching that person along by helping them and being the example of the forgiveness that you want them to receive,
Yeah.
right? You want them to, you just got to be the example of it. You have to be patient. You got to be kind. You got to be loving. You got to be all of these things during that process so that that person won't take as much time to get there.
Right.
You know, and I know that that's hard because some people be like, it's going to take time. I'm not there yet. Like,
Yeah. Well, you got
like,
right.
girl, like for
You gotta
real, it's
participate.
been 17
Right.
years. Like, you're going to have to let it go.
Yeah, you
or you're
gotta
going to have
do
to, or
something.
y'all going to have to break up. Cause
Yeah.
if you're just going to be holding this over somebody's head for the next 20
Yeah.
years, it's no point of being together,
Right.
you know? And so go ahead.
No. I'm sorry, but no. Go ahead, baby. You
No,
you
but
doing-
no, that's
say it.
just, that's the reality of it because we can't use time like an allotted time period. Like
Right.
it's been 5 years.
Yeah.
Sis, it's been 5 years.
Right.
Like really? Like you're gonna keep making them pay? You're gonna keep making her pay?
Right.
Like it's been 5 years,
Like you
bro.
want them to feel your pain.
You want them to like,
You know, yeah.
Why are you gonna spend the next 5 years unhappy because you do realize that you too are unhappy and it's causing issues inside of your body and your mental space as well.
Right.
Living that way.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not worth it. So love is patient. Like love is truly kind. And we do have to hold fast to those principles and be willing to participate and be
Right.
patient along with the process, you know, of getting that person back to their healing stage.
Right.
You know?
And you got to take ownership. That's where the willingness is your issue.
Yeah.
It's your
Yeah,
pain.
it's not their
It's your
issue.
wound. It's like,
Yeah.
you know how I hate to use this example, but don't you know how like some babies are born like connected together?
Yeah.
You're a bone of her bone. You're flesh of her flesh. So every wound that she endure, you're getting a hit too.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about her or him. It's about us. It's about
Right.
our children. It's about our legacy.
Yeah.
And we're talking to people that want to go further faster. We're talking about, we throw around power couples, but we're talking to power couples. You know, we're talking about people that want to be prosperous in every area of their
Yeah.
lives. If you're petty, if you want to be immature, and if you want to be bitter for the rest of your life, this ain't for you. You know,
Yeah.
you can go and watch Fantasia or something like that. Have her baby or
love
something. I do too.
Fantasia.
Yeah.
I
No.
love Tasia.
But my point is,
Hey,
look, we're
Tay.
talking to people that know
Yeah.
that you had something of value, and somewhere down the line, friction happened, or there was an issue that caused a bottleneck.
Yeah.
Now you have to be willing and to participate as well as be patient to get what you have because it is attainable. That's the
is.
thing. Look, people think you can't come back from pain or hurt. You can recover.
Yeah.
I know that there probably was infidelity. I know that there were some form of letdown or disrespect.
Yeah.
Or there
Sure, we
probably
all felt
was
that before.
some type of letdown. A person might be on drugs or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But you can recover from that. The question is, are you willing
Are you
to do what
willing
it takes?
to? Yeah.
If you're not, just call it quits.
Yeah.
Why live in a house or why be with somebody forever being depressed and miserable?
Yeah.
Because eventually, if she cheated on you, and I hate to throw that up, or if he cheated on you,
But listen,
and you
we
withhold
don't
from
have
him,
to hate
look,
to bring
check
it
this
up
out, though.
because it's the reality. It's the world we live in.
Yeah, it
like
is.
people been cheating since the beginning of time. I'm sure
Right.
granddaddy cheated. I'm sure grandma probably was with the mailman when granddad was off at work. You know what I'm saying?
Unfortunately, we're not
Unfortunately,
promoting it.
that happens. But we're not
we
saying
should
that that's
never, ever
okay.
justify. It's never okay to do anything wrong.
But it's not
Right.
like it's something that nobody knows has happened in life. Like
Are you giving me a hall pass?
I'll sock you right. Like I will like blow your junk out though. Like right here, right now. No, I'm joking.
Anyway,
Blow your junk out though.
no,
Like,
but
who
I
said
get
that?
it. But
No.
people can recover, right?
Absolutely.
So you gotta apply WPP, willingness, participation, and you have to be patient, right?
Yeah.
Because some wounds take longer to heal, right?
Absolutely.
So ma'am, stop picking, right? Stop picking at the
Oh,
problem.
that's good.
You know, stop picking at the sore because you have spots on your body like that I have, or it'll callus to where it'll when you pick so much, or you have a bump, or you have a scar, and you don't actually like get a heel or get stitches and you're picking with it, it's going to form, it's going to callus.
Yeah.
So you're going to always see that thing. And that's what happens when we continue to do the things over and over again. There are triggers. So we got to let that thing go, leave it behind, you know, and stop messing with it, you know,
Yes.
stop sneaking around, sis. Like, no, you can't be friends with him on Facebook.
Yeah.
You know, don't you know that he saw you?
Yeah.
No, you can't inbox.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to come home on time.
Yep.
Because you kept picking it, like you're disregarding
Yeah.
that. No, man, we got to get it together. We
Yeah,
got to
so
be
true.
willing. If they are valuable enough, if you feel that it is salvageable, if
Yeah.
you believe that marriage is honorable and you want to succeed.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So you got to apply willingness. You got to
Yes.
participate. You got to be patient. But the foundation under all that is an acronym as well, and it's LCU. You have to love the person that you're with. Just because you offended them doesn't mean that you do not love them. And I'm going to say this again.
That's so true.
I know that it's hard for people to conceive this
That's
or
so
to
true.
process this. I know that they hurt you in a painful way, but try to show some understanding and empathy and understand their humanity.
Yeah.
And know that just because
Jesus.
they did this
No,
act
that's
does not
so
mean that they do
true.
not love you. You
And
know
that
what
is
I'm
not a
saying?
pass.
No, it's not a
Like,
pass. It's
that
not
is
justified.
not
right?
a pass.
Right.
That is really not a pass, people. And don't think that it is when we say that, but like, really, sometimes people fail.
Yes,
Like-
we're human.
Sometimes people really fall
Yeah.
short.
The best of them,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
The the faithful, we all fall short. Like, we have all fallen short. You know, and maybe it wasn't infidelity on
Right.
your part.
Right.
Maybe you overspent and you
Yeah.
tried to keep it silent.
He don't trust you no more.
You know, and he
You're
don't.
sneaky.
You sneaking around buying stuff that you ain't got no business doing. Maybe you a gambler. I don't know. You know, maybe you a silent alcoholic. I don't
Right.
know.
He cuss you out, and he just don't know how to deal with his pain. And we're not implying or promoting any abuse. 'Cause
No.
none of it is. Don't. If you're in abuse, that's a different story. But we're not going to talk about that.
Listen, though.
However, that does not mean that they do not love.
That does
you.
not mean
You know what
that.
I'm saying? You don't
That
have to
doesn't
be with
mean
them.
There's
We're going to
another
use
story.
wisdom. However, that does not mean that
Yeah.
they don't love you.
Because we fall. We really do. We fall. And it doesn't mean that someone doesn't love you
Right.
because they have failed. It's in the continual behavior
Right.
that says
Yeah.
you don't honor me
Because we're not doormats.
and that you don't love me is when you continue.
Right.
Not if you. I'm not gonna say not if you fail, because sometimes some people don't. You know, but you have to
Yeah,
know who
yeah,
you're
in
with.
certain
And you
ways.
yeah.
A letdown, a disappointment.
Yes.
You know, I might have sold you a dream.
yeah.
You know, but I'm still working. No. I'm not offending anybody, but I work at Burger King. But we had 7 kids, and you're still working at Burger King. You're letting me down. You're not paying the bills. The water's getting cut off every month.
Yeah.
You know, so it's beyond infidelity. We're talking about
Yeah,
any blows that
Yeah.
could really suck the wind out of you.
Yeah.
You know, and
The lack of trust
lack
in
of
any
trust,
in
right.
any regard. You know, the lack of trust in any regard can be like a gut punch.
yeah.
You know, and
So you have to love,
yeah,
right?
you do.
It's a foundation. So
Love
you got-
has to be the foundation.
Yeah. So if you don't love that person, you won't stick. You know, just because you love somebody doesn't mean you have to stick. Nah.
That's
Love
true.
is a choice. You don't have to. You can love somebody
so
from
true.
a distance and don't be with them.
Yeah.
But the whole point is, if someone disrespect, disregard, let you down, disappoint, or you experience some level of friction in your relationship, it does not mean that person does not love you.
Right.
So the foundation of all that, if you don't love them, you won't be willing, you won't be patient, you won't participate.
No, that's
I
true.
don't love you.
That's
the
true.
second one is commitment. You have to be committed to your relationship and committed to the process.
Yeah.
Because you can love somebody and not be committed.
Yeah.
So you got to be committed. You got to love and be committed to the whole process, because the process can be long, right? And the last one is you have to have empathy. Empathy. No, that's
Understanding.
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 But you do
IE
have to have-
slash
but you do have to have
empathy.
empathy, yeah.
Right, so we're gonna throw an E on there.
Yeah.
So you got to be understanding. Understand that this person is human.
Yep.
Try to understand this person's past and their family dynamic. Understand what you are not doing or the things that you have done. Be self-aware. Show some empathy and give people a little grace. Look, we've been forgiven.
Yeah.
So why can't
It's
forgive a little, right?
compassion,
It's compassion,
having
right?
compassion for one another, having compassion for one another and understanding that, yeah, we do fall short.
Yeah.
But we're not going to stay there.
Right.
And I ain't going to let you keep,
Yeah.
falling short without holding you accountable for your failures.
Right.
So I think it's important that we do have love,
Yeah.
compassion,
Right.
commitment and understanding.
Yeah.
And empathy. I think all of those are necessary.
That's the foundation, or you won't be willing.
Yep.
You
Or
won't be
you
willing.
won't be willing.
You won't be willing. If you
That's
don't
true.
love, you're not committed. If you're not understanding, if you don't have any empathy, empathy is understanding someone else's stance or their feelings. A lot of times we don't have empathy. We sympathize, but we don't put ourselves in the
We
other
don't put
person's
ourselves
shoes.
in the shoes,
And
yeah.
that's what empathy is. So we need to consider the person, their act. What did they do? Why did they do it? Consider that they are human beings,
Yeah.
and sometimes, most of the time, humans make mistakes.
Yeah.
We just try to make less mistakes
Yep.
as we mature, right? Right. So I just want to give you some directives, right?
Yeah.
Just a few directives before we
What you
get out
got?
of here.
What you got?
And I like formulas. I'm a math guy. I'm not that good at math, but
I'm
I
about
can
to say,
add.
are you a math guy?
Yeah. 1 + 1, 2, 3. I can
Okay,
count
okay,
up to 10.
okay.
But I want to give you guys this
What's 8
formula.
times 5?
No, we're not doing that.
Oh, okay.
I want to give you guys this formula that I think that'll be very beneficial to you guys today. So if you are watching with your partner, with your spouse, I want you to apply these 4 things. And of course, there's an acronym and they all rhyme. They don't rhyme, but they all start with P. It's 4 P's. Number 1, I want you to pray tonight. If you believe in God, you believe that they're in the universe. I'm not shallow. I don't care what you call God. I know what God is to me.
That's
I know
right.
and all this. So whatever, I don't care.
Call him Earl.
God, so we want you to pray. Pray for God to help you and give you direction. Number 1, I want you to pursue some form of help, whether it's therapy, I don't know what it is, knowledge or whatever it is. So pray. I want you to pursue something that's going to help you. Number 3, after you're pursuing, you gain knowledge. I want you to practice what the knowledge that you've gotten. So if a person tell you, I need you to do this, you need to apply that, right? So once you pursue knowledge or whatever it might be, you need to practice. Allen Iverson, practice. You talking about, practice. So you got to apply
Yeah.
things that work or what they're suggesting you to do that could contribute to their healing or whatever a therapist or pastor tell you to do.
But that's exactly why we practice walking in forgiveness.
Yes, practice.
Like you actually have to practice it because it's a daily choice. It sometimes could be an hourly or a choice moment by moment. Like, so I like that. Like you do, you have
math
to
guy,
practice.
Dave.
He is not a math guy, Dave. Dave, he's not. I don't know where he got that from. He's not.
All right, but we have to practice, right?
Yes, you do.
Because practice does not make perfect. Practice makes progress, right? So if you want progress, practice. Come home early, consistently.
Yeah.
Respect him consistently. Stay off Facebook, a little more.
Yeah.
Practice some self-control.
Yeah.
Do things that you've done before to get him or to get her. We got to have different rituals. So if we want to get different results, we got to do the opposite of what we've done to get there, right?
No, that's true.
So you have to pray to God to help you and to gain understanding, whatever it is you want to. And if you tell you to do something, you need to do it. So that you need to pursue, whether it's knowledge, it's some type of actionable step. So I don't know what it is. You need to
Yeah,
pursue help.
I agree,
Then
honey.
you need to practice and do that thing. And number 1 equals production. So pray, pursue, practice equals production or produce. You will produce the fruit that you desire if you apply the principles, if you do the doggone work. So look, are y'all going to do the work? If you're married or if you're going through something, will you do the work, right?
Create a habit of holiness.
Absolutely.
No, that's right. And,
Absolutely.
And wholeness.
Yes,
Create a habit of holiness and wholeness.
absolutely.
Because that is imperative
Yes.
when you are working towards forgiveness.
Absolutely.
To become whole again.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there's a quote that's actually by Dr. Martin Luther King that I thought was very suitable for this conversation right here. And it says, forgiveness is not an occasional act. It is a constant attitude.
Oh, I wanna be the one to hold you close. 'Cause you're the only one I'm dreaming